So, just to claw it back to what we were talking about with the CGI recreations, do you think it is ethical? In your honest opinion, what are your
Do I
thoughts
think
on
it's
it?
ethical?
Say an actor has deceased, they want to make a film using that same character. Do you think it's ethical for them to animate it in a similar style as this to bring that actor, that character back, this beloved actor and this beloved character who they don't want to recast because they're so synonymously known? Say, for example, they want to do a Mr. Bean film. They're married to doing a Mr. Bean film, and Rowan Atkinson, touch wood, that it doesn't, that Rowan Atkinson dies. And they're sold on doing the Mr. Bean film. They've got to do the Mr. Bean film. It has to be live action. Would you think it's unethical for them to do it and CG in whoever to look like Rowan Atkinson?
Ooh, when you started that question, I was gonna answer it differently to how I might now that you've done the other example. So can I answer it in two parts?
Of course you
Because
can.
I think it's two different things. Maybe. So doing Star Wars and you've got these characters and the story isn't finished and it would be wrong to just ignore that character's existence because the actor is no longer with us. Like, unless you could do some form of just crap storytelling to just be like, oh yeah, you know that character that was in the last film? Yeah, they died off screen. Whoops. Like, that is so much worse than doing what they can do here. Especially with Leia in Rogue One, because it's like minutes before the actual performance in Episode 4. Like, it's not a retelling, it's not a sequel further down the line that didn't need to be there. It's literally a scene that happens minutes before the scene that happened in 1978. So I think that, and it's a character that's like owned by the company, whatever. It's not specifically Carrie Fisher, it's Princess Leia. I think that's fine. I think that's okay. On the other side, you mentioned the Mr. Bean thing. Like, if they were gonna go, oh, we want to make a live action Mr. Bean film, but Rowan Atkinson has died. So can we ethically recreate Rowan Atkinson and do a live action Mr. Bean while he's dead? I would say no, that's wrong. And does that just come down to the fact that one is basically a cameo and one is a main character? Like, maybe, because like a main character of film, like, it's the actor's performance and they put a lot into it and it's this entire craft. Whereas the way that, say, Princess Leia is used in Rogue One isn't that. Like, you wouldn't come out of that film and be like, oh yeah, the performance of Princess Leia was really good, wasn't it? Like, in that one scene that she was in where she says like half a word. Like, it's not that. And I think that might be the difference, which is a massive grey area. Because then you could say, okay, so like a character like I don't know, Poe Dameron in the new trilogies, he's there, but other than the first film, he doesn't do that much. Like, could that be like a legacy character that we bring back from the dead? Like, I don't know. Like, is that right? But I think like, if we're talking just actual objectively, it's their character. Like, is it an insult to Harrison Ford if they make a CG version of Han Solo that should look like Harrison Ford because Harrison Ford did play him? Like, where is the line there?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think for me, a lot of it's on like a personal level for like the individuals and the actors. So, because I know a lot of it, I know most of them, the actors' estates have to sign off on it. Like, any living relatives get a say in whether or not they think it's okay. So I believe they approached Peter Cushing's family for like the use of his likeness in the film, because I think obviously they need permission and things like that. And I think also to do with the actors themselves. Like, not that I'm saying everyone should, every actor on their deathbed should sign a clause that says, "Please don't reanimate me in CG for a Disney movie." I just mean like I don't know. It's reminiscent of the hologram tours that they're doing with deceased musicians, like with Tupac and with like Ronnie James Dio, and it's showing them in decades gone doing this performance, and I think to those points, those are quite ghoulish in a way. Like,
I think that is shamelessly making money off of people that have died. A cameo by Princess Leia is not that.
no, I mean, she was still alive at this point anyway.
Yeah, but like irrelevant of whether she's alive or dead, her being recreated as CG, it would be weird for them to do this Rogue One story and not have Princess Leia involved, because at the beginning of episode 4 she is entirely involved, so she has to come in at some point during Rogue One, otherwise it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like a nice little sequence where they pass like the narrative handle over to her for the next film.
Exactly. And they needed to do that, so if she was dead, then they'd have had to recreate her, whatever. Like, that's not the same as recreating Rowan Atkinson for a brand new film where it's just making money off of someone who's died, which I think that's the difference. I think,
yeah,
is it just we need to make a new thing and we'll use this dead person's likeness, or is it we need their likeness is pivotal to this story that we were already telling, and sadly the actor can't do it anymore, so we're gonna have to fill the gap.
Yeah. So for a real life example, there were rumors. I don't know if it's still going ahead. It was shortly after Rogue One came out. There was various whispers that they were allegedly going to, I think it was like either James Dean or Clint Eastwood. They were going to do the exact same thing and have a film starring them. In 2020 cinema, in modern day films, they were going to have a completely CG'd version of them as the main character in a film. So almost literally the Rowan Atkinson scenario, but they were genuinely considering it for a completely new character as well. This wasn't a continuation of an old franchise or something like that. This was a whole new thing. So like, oh, they're one of the classic actors. We'll get them for it because we can do that now.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Like, that is using a deceased person, their legacy, to get your money.
Like, you don't have a right to their likeness, which is then where I think the Mr. Bean thing is actually more morally grey, because the people that own Mr. Bean do have a ownership of that likeness, because like the animated version of Mr. Bean, like the actual 2D animation thing, looks like Rowan Atkinson because that is the character of Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
So them then recreating that for a later film is more okay than bringing back James Dean for a film that never existed when he was alive.
Yeah, a film that's been made by people who are probably born a generation, 2 generations after he died. I don't even know. But yeah, I think it's got terrifying implications that people can just be like, oh, you're dead. Okay, we're just going to put you in this movie. You don't have to sign off on it because you're dead.
I hate that. That's not good.
I think in the right context, when it's paying tribute to these characters that had such an impact.
That's it. It's the characters, not the actors. This has got nothing to do with Carrie Fisher. It's Princess Leia, and that's a big difference. Even though that's technically the same thing, it's not.
It's not like in The Rise of Skywalker, they CG'd Robin Williams walking in and doing impressions for seeing them walking back out. That has no relevance to the story. Princess Leia was an integral part of this series, of this franchise. And as you already covered, it makes sense for her to be there.
Yes. And they're telling a part of the story that they had already told.